So I'm yelling at people, it's just, I know I'm not friendly at the event. But.
Dude, I don't take anything to offense, man. It's a business, and I did not know how much you do behind the scenes, but at the last event, I really got a good idea, and I'm sure you do way more than what I've seen. But based on what I saw, like you're running around, you got the headset on, you're getting the fighters ready, getting them fitted with their wraps and press passes, and I saw your wife helps out greatly. So I know you guys are working your asses off back there, man.
Yeah, in the last 2 shows they've had me on a cord, so I only have like 50 feet to move. So it's like putting a dog on a leash and having, when I got to get something, I got to unplug sometimes and run. It's tough, but the first show I saw you at doing the backstage interviews, where you had that little setup. I guess it was Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, that was it? Okay, yes, that's right. Yeah, I saw you in Fort Lauderdale for the first time.
That one I was in a good mood because everything was so easy. But some of these shows, man, stress me the hell out.
What are some of the things that are like different for you? Like, Fort Lauderdale is a great venue, no stress, but then, being out in Daytona, what was the big difference for you?
The layout. So in Daytona, everyone was right there, but everyone's trying to come out and see their friends, see their family, and with COVID and everything, we're trying to keep people in their locker rooms. So I was constantly pushing, getting back in their individual rooms, where I'm not sure if you remember Fort Lauderdale, we had them in the back. They were all upstairs, and we had the holding room downstairs. So you only needed to keep them upstairs and not in a little 10 by 10 area. So.
Yeah, and that convention center seemed a lot bigger in Fort Lauderdale than it was in Daytona, too.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Daytona was beautiful, man. That's some of the nicest people we've ever worked with as far as a venue goes. They were just so nice and so accommodating. It was awesome.
Yeah, the event was amazing, man. I got to credit you. I know I shook your hand after the event, just saying what an amazing job you did on the fights. And do you make all the matches?
No, so Dave and I collaborate on it.
Okay.
Pretty much what happens is I look over. We get 60 to 80 people that apply every day to fight bare knuckle. It's insane. And I can't go through everyone and scout everyone. So there are managers that I have good relationships with that I reach out to. There are some fighters I've been scouting or I've heard about. We've had tryouts in different places, Florida, Pennsylvania, Kansas most recently. So I have a nice, probably about 400 or 500 people in my database that are either active fighters or I want to get on a card.
Wow.
So I make potential matches and I sit down with Dave Sr., and sometimes he looks at me as like, man, it's going to be a war. Other times he's looking at me as like, what are you thinking? So this past card, we sat down and we were talking, and we're like, just looking at the card from bottom to top, we're like, this might be the best card we've ever put together, just excitement-wise.
You know what was crazy about it? I mean, I've watched every bare knuckle. I'm a huge fan. And watching that event, and not even so just being there live. I mean, it was great to be there live. Of course, that's the best way to do it. But honestly, man, like this was the best card in my opinion as a fan watching. It was just lights out from top to bottom, unbelievable. Every fight was a fucking war, and I enjoyed it, especially that Joe Elmore and Tom Show fight. That was off the charts sick.
The problem with that fight is it's kind of predictable of how it's going to go. Like, not who's going to win, but Joe is the bigger, stronger fighter. So if he lands a clean shot, it could knock Tom down, which it did, I believe, 4 times.
Yep.
But then Tom is just so technical that you knew if he could avoid getting knocked out, he was going to batter and bloody up Joe. So, and it's the same formula we used for Joe's first fight when we matched him against Will. Will Choate had 119 fights going into that, professional fights prior to that. So we figured either Joe's going to win by knockout or Will's going to win by cutting him up using his reach and his length and his experience. So.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And the crazy part was, because you guys was it like 30% capacity in there?
So I believe we're allowed up to 50%, but we also had to abide by social distancing procedures and protocols. So even though the place holds, say, 8,000, you say, 50% is 4,000. What they do is they take out every other row of seats. So now it takes from 8 to 4. But then you can't sit strangers, if you will, next to each other. You have to have a 6-foot distance. So it's like 2 seats and like 3 seats empty, then 3 seats and 3 seats empty and 2 seats. So you're like at 60% of half capacity. So like an 8,000 person venue, I don't know, sold out crowd was 2,200, 2,300, something like that. Still, I mean, a lot of people. I'm not complaining by any means, but I mean, we could have packed more in there if it wasn't for COVID.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I think you guys have packed the biggest crowd in any sport, I think, live during COVID. I mean, I haven't UFC, obviously, no crowds, no crowds in Bellator. I mean, you guys are really, and I thought you guys did a great job too, even with the tables and everything ringside. It was like a, restaurant in a way, tables were 6 feet apart. I thought you guys did a great job, man, with that.
I'll tell you what, like Dave Feldman Jr., he sits down and he maps this all out, and he gets a vision, and he gets the dimensions, and he does his little trickery stuff there and his measurements and the CAD drawings, and we know going into it exactly how many tables and every inch is accounted for. The math part's easy, but then when you put when you're trying to figure in how many tables and different angles and walkways and lighting, and I mean he's amazing at doing that.
Yeah, and because I was getting to the point I was getting at was because of the work that you guys put in to have a capacity crowd there, even though it wasn't full capacity of 8,000. When that Joe Elmore fight and Tom Show fight took place, and I think it was about the 3rd or 4th round, it started getting real bloody, knockdowns, back and forth. I mean, I heard a roar in that crowd, man. Like you felt that energy. It felt like there was 8,000 people there, man, because that fight just brought all that energy out of the people, man. So for me, I was like, I actually looked around and Dave Feldman was sitting right in front of me, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I mean, how could you not after watching that fight, man?
No, I absolutely agree. I'm in the back running around, and there was twice that night where the roar of the crowd, despite it not being 8,000 people, the roar of the crowd stopped me in my steps. During Joe Elmore, Tom Shove's fight, just how loud, and I mean, I could picture the people up on their feet. And then when everyone was cheering USA, it's been 19 years probably since I heard that much patriotism at a sporting event, and I got the chills. Like just hearing everyone chanting it on, it was like, it's 9/11. 19 years later, we did this huge event, our best lighting event, probably the best fight card. And I'm not knocking other combat sports, but that might have been the best fight card in combat sports in 2020. And then, it was a great night altogether.
Yeah, it was, man. Again, hats off to you guys. I mean, the main event was great. The addition of Julian Lane coming in. I mean, I don't know if you could talk about it or not, but what happened with Phil Baroni, if you could talk about that?
So I don't know all the details behind the scenes. One thing for BKFC is David Feldman Sr., he handles the main event fights. He still likes to be hands-on for some things, and that's one of the things that he is an integral part of. So whatever happened behind the scenes, I don't know the exact details, but what I do know is when I called Julian Lane on less than 2 weeks' notice, and I'm like, hey, Julian, I got to fight. This guy, he didn't try and negotiate weight. He didn't. I don't think he tried negotiating pay. He was when, where, send me the contract. Like I don't think I even told him I was getting paid until I got the contract. That man will fight anyone within probably 10 or 20 pounds of his weight at any time. And then he thanks me for it. Like I did him a huge favor when he came through for us. He's like, thanks, Nate. I was like, oh, you're welcome. Like I felt bad saying you're welcome because he was helping out the company. I mean, we helped him out too, obviously, but just he's so easy to deal with. I love having Julian Lane on cards. He always brings the fight, and as long as I'm matchmaking and he has the ability to fight, he's going to be on cards.
Yeah, man. He had a lot of energy before the fight. It was my first time meeting him, and I've seen him on TV. Man, he's a tough dude. You don't want to cross this guy, and he's like the nicest dude, man. We just shoot the shit backstage a little bit, joked around a little. Let me bang, bro. It was really cool. But when I heard the addition of Julian Lane sliding into the main event, in my personal humble opinion, I thought the main event got upgraded with Tiago versus Lane.
So I can't take away from everything Phil Brony's accomplished in his fighting career.
Oh, 100%.
That man has fought in every major organization in the world. Stylistically, he comes to fight. He throws hard. Despite his age, he's always in great shape. Like, he is a legend of combat sports. However, Julian Lane at 185 looked in the best shape I've ever seen him in.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how much he's been training, but when he showed up, he didn't look like he had time off. He looked like he's been training, waiting for an opportunity, and he capitalized. Even now, people message me and are like, "Hey, what do you think about that fight?" The judges score how the judges score. Like, I'm not the type to sit there and criticize people, because I watch fights as fans. I don't watch fights as a judge. So I'm watching for the entertainment value, where judges are watching it to score.
True.
But people are like, "Man, Julian fought his ass off. He did a great job." So I'm proud. I'm glad that he stepped up and made that fight, because, I mean, it capped off, like you said, an amazing card.
Oh yeah, and then the Hector Lombard and the Kendall Grove fight. Whew. Dude, I went to the bathroom because it was right after Dat and Reggie went head to head, ringside. So I had to get that footage, and then I'm like, damn, I got to take a leak. So I run over to the bathroom. So while I'm going, I'm watching my phone and I'm watching the playback of that, and it was loud. And then I hear in the stall next to me, "Hey man, who is that?" And I was like, "Dat?" And it was Dat. He was in the stall next to me, and he's like, "Are you playing that thing that just happened with me and Reggie?" I said, "Yeah." So then I'm like, "Yo, the Hector fight's going on." So I walk out. Me and Dat walk out the bathroom. We get back into the crowd area. The referee's already waving the fight off. I said, "What the hell just happened here?" But then I had to watch the playback, and I saw it was 4 knockdowns in the first round. I was like, "Holy shit! Wow."
Yeah, I mean, look, Hector, the guy hits so hard. He's so explosive. He's in phenomenal shape. People are like, "Oh, well, Kendall looked off." Maybe it's that Hector just hits so hard and he gets people off their game. I mean, until you're at the end of receiving one of those punches, no one can sit there and criticize the opponents. Hector's now 2-0 in bare knuckle and looks amazing. So yeah, the fight ended quick, but it's one of those things. Again, you have a fighter like Hector Lombard who's going to get in your face and make you fight, and you have Kendall, who is 6'6", 6'7", and guy's so tall, who would have to utilize his reach and just didn't get a chance to. So, hats off to Hector for such a dominant performance of that fight.
Dude, it was dominating. Who do you think would be next for Hector? I know from my understanding, he's got a 3-fight contract. I don't know if anything got changed, but what do you see for a third fight for him? Anything yet? Or
so Hector's at the level where fighting another person, or fighting a person, I should say, that is not a UFC veteran, Bellator veteran, just doesn't make sense. Hector shows that he can compete with the best people in bare knuckle, probably from 185.
Oh, I lost you there. Hold on, I lost your sound too.
Am I back?
Now you're back.
All right, sorry. So
all good.
Hector shows that he can compete with the best people from 185 to 205.
Yeah.
So I don't see him fighting someone who is not another huge name, just like he is. His first fight, he tested it out, did very well, took minimal damage from what I understand. His second fight, I don't know if he was even hit clean in that fight. I think Kendall threw 3 or 4 punches. But again, Hector's very explosive. So I'm hoping we can see him at 185. There's a lot of options there. We have several undefeated fighters at 185 that'll match up well. Some are legends. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it, man. And then we got the big fight coming up October 10th. We got actually I just had Joey Beltran on last night, so we're talking about his fight with Marcel Stamps coming up. It's going to be a huge main event right there. And then Nico Hernandez, I saw that he's going to be back on the card too, so I'm excited to definitely see him get in there too.
Yeah, so the October 10th card right now has 10 bouts scheduled on it. Okay. There were some names from the original March card that we were trying to get on, but things just didn't line up for us. But we have an amazing main event. I guess we'll start there with Joey Beltran, Marcel Stamps. Marcel fought his first 2 fights in bare knuckle at 185, I believe. Mm-hmm. And his first fight was an undercard fight. And he fought a local guy down there. It's a different sport. So he grew into it. When he came back and he fought Kendall, though, he looked like a totally different person. Marcel is athletic. He's fast. He has bricks for hands. So I'm curious to see how he does punching a heavyweight. Joey Beltran, the man's fought at the highest levels in other combat sports. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had 2 phenomenal fights with Tony Lopez. I think Tony's like 240 or something. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how this fight goes. Will the bigger man, and Joey wear down on Marcel with, attrition? Or will Marcel have the explosion power to stop him potentially with a cut or a knockout? It's one of those fights. We'll see how it goes.
And that's the cool thing about bare knuckle. You just never know. Yeah. You just never know. Could just be one shot that ends the fight.
Yeah. And look, it could be Joey Beltran wearing down Marcel over the rounds, just getting heavy on him and making a dirty fight. And then Marcel could hit him with a clean punch and cut him open. I mean, we'll see. But it's one of those fights that as a fan, I'm really excited to watch. You mentioned Nico, co-head, co-main for the card. Nico's fighting at 115. Chancey Wilson, stepped up. He's been training, so I'm excited about that fight. We have Dave Rickles. I think is one of the longest tenured Bellator fighters, probably in history, I guess you could say. So Rickles has a good fight in front of him. And then we have Sam Shoemaker.
Oh, he's back. Nice.
Josh Burns. Yep, Sam Shoemaker's back.
Oh, so nice fight, bro.
Yeah. So Josh Burns is someone we were talking to for a while. He has 8 bare knuckle fights. He's 4-4 overseas. Has a ton of experience. Big, strong, athletic. But can he take a punch, from Sam? I mean, Sam already proved that if he hits you clean, he could put you out quickly. But again, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how Josh feels mixing up in there. And Sam hasn't fought in a little while, so we'll see how the layoff affects him.
Yeah, that's a good fight. I didn't know that was on the card, man. So I'm super excited to see that fight happen. That's going to be that's 2 Buffaloes getting in there just swinging. I can't wait.
It is. It's going to be one of those fights where if it goes 5 rounds, I think everyone's going to be disappointed because both the men have dynamite in both their hands. So I think they're going to exchange, flesh, and someone's going to land knuckles, and it's going to be a wrap.
Sweet, man. And then we got the BKFC TV app. Super important, obviously. Could you just, for the listeners, the viewers, explain how the app works, where they could download it, and things like that?
Absolutely. So it's bktvapp.com, and it's going to be the home for the future of BKFC events and our new series, Toe the Line Fight Series, which is a company I started. It's not a fight promotion. Our company is actually a liaison, if you will. I go out and I work with local promoters that are promoting bare knuckle, and then I connect them with BKTV so they can stream their fights live on the BKTV app. It's $3.99 a month by going to the website. There's a setup fee of like $9.99 at first, and that's $3.99 a month. So I mean, you'll get behind the scenes, tryouts, weigh-ins, shoulder content, interviews, and then the Toe the Line Fight Series and BKFC events.
Wow, that's seriously an amazing deal. For $3.99 a month, you get all of that.
Yeah, so the team actually, David sat everyone down and they did some research. At the end of the day, it's less than $4. So if you spend $4 on a cup of coffee at one of these fancy coffee houses, I mean, for less than a cup of coffee, like they say on TV, you can watch bare knuckle all month. And we are the fastest growing sport in the world right now. I mean, there's no one can argue that. 2 years ago, or a little over 2 years ago now, people told Dave it would never happen. And then June 2018, he did the first ever legal sanction regular bare knuckle event. And now we're here 2 years later, and we just acquired the biggest free agent in combat sports out there, Paige Van Zandt. So, yeah, we went from doing that first show to now being in the runnings and acquiring the biggest free agent. So it just shows that we have a phenomenal product, and Dave and the team figured out a way of delivering this great product to the fans for less than $4 a month. So tune in.
Amazing. Tune in, guys. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, the Paige signing was dope. Threw me off. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, what? Paige Van Zandt signed bare knuckle? Holy shit. I mean, and it was amazing to be there at the I know I saw you on the other side of the press conference, the top team kind of playing peekaboos, get the masks on and all that shit. But it was cool, man, just to be there, meeting Paige, getting to talk to her after the press conference, during the press conference. I know I saw people giving me heat saying, oh, yes, you're inviting people on your podcast while you do it. Hell yeah, I am. I got an opportunity. I'm taking advantage of it. But it was great, man. Like I really enjoyed it. You guys had a real professional setup. The whole process was great, man. But when I heard that signing, then you got Thiago Alves, Rumble behind the scenes, it was great. Just all these names that are coming out and experiencing bare knuckle and being brand ambassadors or signing contracts. It just shows all the work that you guys are putting in. But I've been a fan since day one, so maybe I'm a little impartial. But at the grand scheme of things, you guys definitely are the fastest growing sport right now. There's no question. No question.
So to kind of put it in perspective, 4 years ago, or even back further, June of 2011, Dave and I were sitting in a casino, and he was telling me he was going to be doing one bare knuckle fight out in Arizona in August. I wasn't able to go out there for it, but he came back and he was just blown away about how many tickets they sold to this event. They put it online for a small fee. It crashed the network. So he pushed it for 7 years. And in 2016, I was talking to some referees I know, some fighters I know, and they all told me, you'll never get anyone who's legitimate to fight. You'll never get anyone who's serious. No one's going to take the sport seriously. And then our first event, we have Rico Rodriguez, former UFC heavyweight champ, headlining the card. We have, Beltran and Lopez and, all these other fighters on the card that people didn't think we'd be able to get. Then you go a little bit further, we start signing more and more UFC veterans.
Yeah, Joe Riggs.
Joe Riggs undefeated bare knuckle.
Yep.
Paulie Malignaggi, Artem Lobov, like all these big names. And then, we find ourselves there at a press conference, at American Top Team headquarters. Dan Lambert, so nice.
Yeah.
He is everything we asked for. He was so accommodating. So thank you so much to him and his staff. They were truly amazing, with helping set up and providing all the space. So we had this great, you were there, you saw the setup, nice spread. And then we did interviews in back rooms, in these side rooms. And it was perfect. So, and we're announcing, pretty much the largest free agent in the world at the time in combat sports, signing with BKFC over, other large MMA organizations that, potentially put in bids for.
Yeah, and that says a lot too, because Paige told me directly that there was 4 or 5 other organizations that reached out to her that made very good offers, but she wanted to be a part of bare knuckle. So it wasn't about money, it wasn't about anything. She wanted to be a part of it. So I think that says a lot for what you guys are doing, and for other fighters that are becoming free agents that are thinking about making a switch. A lot of people, I think, are going to start looking your way.
I agree. I mean, bringing in someone like Paulie Malignaggi, bringing in Paige Van Zandt, bringing in Artem Lobov, it shows that the company is legitimate.
Yeah.
But what also does is for some of these younger fighters, I'm just going to use Caleb Harris and Joe Elmore for examples. There probably wasn't 1,000 people in Mississippi that knew who Caleb Harris was. He went out there, got knockout of the year, and that video has been seen millions of times. So now he goes from being someone who might just have a local name to being known around the world. Joe Elmore, he said the same thing on a different podcast. He fought around the sea. He was making decent money. He fights bare knuckle one fight. Now he's getting calls from sponsors and people that didn't know him before. He had this huge career in MMA. No one really knew of him. Now he fights one bare knuckle fight, and it pretty much changed his life. So, bare knuckle is a thing that is attracting a lot of fighters and a lot of fans. And like you said, I mean, we're on a fast track.
Oh yeah, Elmore. That guy's got that. I get back to Elmore again only because like that guy's energy. Like for me, when I see Joe Elmore, I can't help but think of bare knuckle. Because he's that guy. He's scrappy. He's ready to fight. He's ready to go to war. He's a little crazy. I told him that to his face. You look kind of a maniac, and he's laughing. He's like, hell yeah, I am, And he's got that mentality. And I think like a guy like him is very marketable. He's kind of like an underdog too, in a way, because he's not as technical as a Tom Shoaf, but he's got the heart, he's got the power, and he's got a puncher's chance, man. And that's a fan favorite in my book. So incredible, man.
Well, and again, Joe Elmore is someone that I went after because I knew his style fit very well for our sport. Johnny Bedford, excuse me. He's someone I went after because I knew his style was made for the sport. Yeah. There are some fighters that you look at and they can be phenomenal fighters, and I'm not dogging them, but they're not made for bare knuckle.
True.
Guys like Bedford and Elmore, and there's several others out there, the Joey Beltrons, the Tony Lopez. They're made for the sport. Win, lose, or draw, they entertain the fans. People love to watch them compete, and I hope that they continue their career with us until they're done fighting.
Yeah. That'd be great, man. Then you got some of these up-and-comers, too. Like guys that, as the promotion grows and becomes bigger, you're going to have these younger guys that are going to grow from the promotion and get popular. One that stands out to me, Gustavo Trujillo. That guy's got – you want to talk about dynamite in your hands? He's explosive. What is he, 2-0, and both of his knockouts are within a minute in the first round?
So –
against tough opponents.
Yeah, his first fight was against Robert Morrow. Robert Morrow, I think, is like a 50-some pro fight veteran. I think he's a Bellator veteran. Robert Morrow is a tough fighter.
Yeah.
He just won a heavyweight tournament somewhere up north, I believe. He came down 205. Trujillo hit him with a straight, and it was so crisp. I mean, no one at the end of the punch was going to sit there and take that punch and just eat it.
Nah.
And then, his power was shown when he fought Lorenzo Hunt as well. Yeah. He hit Lorenzo clean, didn't knock him out, but split his lip, pretty gnarly. So Trujillo is definitely one of those fighters that people may not have known about him, but once they saw him fight, very impressive. And we're hoping that, again, we're able to have him back in November on a card in Florida that we're going to be doing.
Any idea where in Florida yet? Oh, I lost you again, brother. We'll be right back after this commercial break. For all your CBD needs, hit up hempboca.com. Coupon code MMA. All right, I got your sound, but no face. We got to get your pretty face back up here.
Yeah, I'll know what to do.
Did you get a phone call?
Yeah, I took it. I had on airplane mode, but that's what was.
You may want to just log back out and log in again.
All right, give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. And then also, guys, for your quality cannabis needs, hit up our boys at Veteran Farms, veteranfarms.com. If you like that THC, if you like to puff, pass, or if you don't like to pass at all and you just want to keep puffing, you got to hit up my boys, quality cannabis, all day, every day at veteranfarms.com. And get back to that CBD I was telling you about. Best massage oil in town. And like I said, I'll say it every time. You could use it for sex too. It's the amazing CBD. Check them out, hempboca.com. But my boy is back. Nate Shook, the man himself. Nate.
Thanks. Yeah, I had on airplane mode there for a little bit, but it was lagging for some reason. So took it off, and now my phone's going crazy. It's fight week, though. So
that's right, man. I'm sure you get blown up all day, every day, man.
Yeah.
That's nice to be popular, right?
Yeah, but sometimes it's the same fighter. I won't say his name every day. Text, call, Facebook, manager calls, but I can't complain. I mean, we have a great pool of fighters to choose from.
Nice.
99% of them are very easy to deal with. So we're lucky to have the fighters that we do have competing for us.
Awesome. I'm sorry, we got cut off. I was asking you about the Florida November event. Any idea where the venue will be?
We're aiming for South Florida, actually.
Okay.
I like Daytona Beach. That venue, like I said, it was amazing. The lights, the setup, the staff, everything was great. I wouldn't mind going back there. Talking to Dave, he has a vision, so we're obviously going to try to accommodate as much as we can. So I have some phone calls in, but as you know, Miami-Dade, Broward, some of these other counties have been seriously locked down for the past couple months. They're slowly starting to reopen. COVID protocols and procedures are just getting to be written in some of them, while other venues have them already established. So it's just a matter of finding the right venue that's open that can accommodate our crowds, because we're trying not to do no audience shows. Dave said already that he will do it if need be, but it takes away. Imagine Joe Elmore Tom show without thousands of people cheering. It still would have been a great fight, but the energy behind that just amplified and intensified the action that was happening in the ring.
Oh, 100. And I credit you guys again for getting the crowds. And I hope it's in South Florida, because that's where I'm at. And so I could probably just walk over there.
I'm hoping.
That'll be great. Now, I heard rumors Paige Van Zandt possibly on the November card. Is that true?
Possibly. I mean, here's what we're looking at. At the end of the day, Dave has to sit down and talk to her management team and find what's best for her and her opponent. This isn't just throwing someone in there. Like, if you look at our fights, we're not throwing cans at fighters. Like, she's going to be put in there, she's going to be challenged. So we have to make sure we have the right fight with enough time to market it at the right venue. And Dave's working that. I mean, that guy stays on the phone all the time, making phone calls and answering phone calls. And people are like, oh, I didn't hear from him, or he didn't call. They don't see his phone going off every minute, all day long. So I'm hoping we hear something about that here in the next couple of weeks, one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm sure Dave's phone's blowing up, man. I'm very sparingly when I reach out to Dave, but if he doesn't get back to me, I don't take that to offense at all, because I'm sure that guy's, like you said, on the phone all day. So, but when I do see Dave, it's always real cool to see him, and we get to talk for a little bit. But yeah, man, hopefully Florida, we'll see. But I'm really intrigued about, and I want you to tell the viewers about this Total Line series that's coming up on Saturday. I have a lot of questions too, but I would love for you, for the purpose of the listeners and the viewers, explain Total Line series, what it is, the fights that are on there, and what the goal is.
So originally, the Total Line series thing was an idea to gather content from other promoters. But as you've seen, there's a lot of bare knuckle promoters that might have done a show or two and just aren't promoting at this time. So I sat down with David and we spoke about it. And I asked him, I said, what if, I mentor a couple small promotions and help them promote successful bare knuckle events. So Total Line Fight Series is not a promotion. I work with local promoters like Legacy Promotions this weekend in order to put together a successful bare knuckle event, stream it live on the BKTV app. So I'm just like a liaison, if you will. Okay. But the nice thing is, the fighters that fight on these cards, they sign multi-fight deals with my company, Total Line Fight Series. Then the promoters, they have to use fighters that are signed to Total Line Fight Series. So what it does is it gives us a large pool of fighters that I'm able to utilize in the different areas. And then if David or someone on the team says, hey, what about that guy? I literally just move the contract from Total Line to BKFC. So it gives me the ability and the leverage to move fighters from the local regional level to the big shows. But I went through and I hand selected a lot of these promoters. So we have a promoter we have two now in Mississippi, at least one in Florida. I'm talking to a second one in Alabama, and two in Kansas. These are people that I went out and I I got references for. I saw their product. I talked to them, and they really know what they're doing for other combat sports. So let's just take their expertise in those other combat sports, and let's utilize my pool of fighters, and let's do some bare knuckle fights. Let's get more people fighting. Because look, one thing Dave and I always talked about was we need competition. A lot of people, they don't want competition. They want to be the only person on the block. But if we're the only promotion in the world doing bare knuckle, how many people are really going to train bare knuckle if they don't have the opportunity to fight in it?
Very true.
We need these local promoters, and with the local promotions, I get to see if the guys can really fight or not.
Because I was just going to say that, yes.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to use this name, and again, this isn't to disrespect them because we put them on a card, but Van Vo is a fighter that we're bringing into this card. He's wanted to fight bare knuckle. We were not considering him for BKFC, but I get a call from someone I highly respect, and they said, this guy can fight, give him a shot. So we didn't make him go to the tryouts. We had him come on down, and we put him on a Toe the Line Fight Series card. Because at the end of the day, the records don't matter, but when I have 80 applications and 20 of them have winning records, and the other, say, 40 have losing records, and maybe 20 have never fought before, I'm going to rack and stack priority to the ones that say they have a winning record. Right. So I'm excited to see what Van Vo can do, because the person that told me about him is someone that I respect a lot and that I've known for 12 to 15 years in this fight game, who's a UFC veteran, and he does a lot of mentorship and stuff. So when he said, man, this guy can fight, I'm excited to have him on his card. And if it wasn't for Toe the Line, I may not have got to see him fight in the future. So we're going to be doing at least 10 shows a year. The goal is a show a month. Okay. But it depends on the promoters, venue availability, and things like that. Sure. We have September 26th, Tunica, Mississippi. Then October 16th, we're working a show in Plant City, Florida. Then November 21st in Kansas City, Kansas.
Nice. This is great. This really is, but it makes total sense, man. And I like the fact that you have the abilities to now watch these guys, these girls in action and see what they're made of. And hey, you may find Paige Van Zant's opponent in Total Line Series. You never know.
Well, we have former world champ boxers that are going to be fighting Toe the Line.
Oh, wow.
And I have 3 of them right now on the roster that we're going to headline Toe the Line cards with them to show what they can do. And the scary thing is they're going to be more comfortable because we don't use the squared circle. That's a BKFC thing. Toe the Line uses a 20-foot, 22-foot boxing ring, or they use a cage, which we're going to be utilizing only for one promoter. But we're using a 22-foot boxing ring. Now imagine fighting a former world champ boxer in a boxing ring without gloves on. It's in their home. But again, we'll get to see if these boxers can adapt to the clinching and the bare knuckle. And if they can, they're not going to stay and Toe the Line. Dave's going to, absorb those contracts and put them on the big shows. So
nice. This is a great idea, man. I'm excited to see this. Yeah, it's interesting with the boxers. So I was actually talking to Shannon Briggs a couple of days ago, and me and Shannon stay in touch. And obviously, a lot of people can't wait to see him get in the ring. Do you guys have any idea when this is going to happen? And also, I know you signed Frank Mir. Is that true?
No, so the Frank Mir deal isn't done.
Okay.
I think someone heard rumors and jumped the gun on it.
Got it.
Here's the thing. Dave talks to probably 5 to 10 UFC veteran representatives a week. Okay. So I'm surprised that more stuff isn't leaked as true than actually happens. But he does a really good job of keeping the rumors under control. Someone broke that. I mean, Dave was talking to their management, may still be talking to their management, but it's not a done deal yet.
Got it.
With Briggs, I mean, who wouldn't want to see him? So I'm a boxing fan. I grew up watching boxing.
Me too.
And Shannon Briggs, an amazing athlete. I did not realize how large of a man he was until down in Florida, until I saw him face to face. He's in incredible shape.
Yeah.
So they say the last thing to go is power, right? In a punch. So imagine getting hit by him, with no glove on.
Dude, his fists are as big as my head. No exaggeration.
No, I mean,
it's insane.
and he's skilled. It's not like some other fighters that are just big and strong. I mean, he is truly, an elite athlete that has a ton of punching power, and he's a large person. So, when he steps in and fights bare knuckle, and I'm not sure when it's going to be. Again, he's a main eventer, so Dave will handle that one. But when he does step in there, I mean, it's going to be a fight that I can't see going 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy, man. I was at Shannon's house a couple of months ago. We did an episode with Dr. Bo Hightower, and he did his chiropractic work on him. But it was my first time actually meeting him face to face. We did some podcasts and phone calls and stuff like that. Dude, when I stood next to this guy, I couldn't believe it. He's like a cartoon character, like that come to life, man. He's like 6'5", like he's just tremendous. But like he comes off bigger than 6'5". Yeah. It's just like his presence, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah, no, and he's one of the guys. Like there's plenty of people I know that are 6'4", 6'5", but when I saw him, I truly didn't understand how large of a person he was, and it makes it even more incredible knowing how fast he can move and how hard he hits. Yeah. Being so large. So he's in phenomenal shape. He has a huge following in Florida. He's a well-respected, professional boxer with tons of accomplishments. Huge addition when he gets in the squared circle.
Can't wait, man. Excited. Yeah. Can you debunk any crap that's out there that's not true? And is there anything that you could break tonight?
So what are some things out there that aren't true or that are being rumored? I try to stay away. What I'm saying, what are some things? Do you have any examples?
Well, the one obviously was Frank Mir, so thank you for clarifying that. And then, there was something else. There was another fighter I heard from someone. Can't think of it. It'll come to me. But there was another fighter. Somebody was talking about UFC vet that supposed to make a transition at bare knuckle, but then it kind of fizzled off. But I heard it, and it was kind of a big name too, and I just can't think who it is right now.
Well, here's the thing: we're making offers to UFC veterans, and we're discussing contracts. There are some UFC vets that this entices them, and they have some interest in it. But at the end of the day, they have to sit there and they have to weigh out their future. And a jump to bare knuckle, you have to think for a mixed martial artist that trains jiu-jitsu and wrestling and kickboxing and the clinch, and to go from that to only training punching style strikes in the clinch. That if they do this for a year and they're not training anything else, that could put their mixed martial arts career behind. So I'm hoping that when they make the transition over to us, they do dedicate their time to training bare knuckle fighting and hopefully, finish their career out with us. So there are some, like I said, there are some UFC veterans I've been in contact with, their management or them, and they're highly interested. The money's right, everything's right, but they don't want to necessarily make that jump and not do it wholeheartedly because they know that if they do wrestling or jiu-jitsu and hurt themselves, it doesn't do any good for their bare knuckle, fighting career.
That's true. That is definitely true, man. I'm looking forward to even the Jim Ehlers and Palomino fight, man. That's going to be sick, 155. And I don't know, what weight did Alves fight at? Was it 165? Well,
Thiago fought at 180.
Oh, he fought at 180. Okay.
Yeah. He's another one. Like, I can't imagine him making. I mean, I know he did make 170, but he is just in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
And at 180, he was lean. Him and trying to coming from someone who's not a mixed martial artist. Seeing guys like him and Julian Lane and trying to picture them at a lower weight. Sometimes it's just baffling. But they looked phenomenal at 180. Great shape, carried well. 5 exciting rounds. They didn't gas. So it's a good weight for both of them.
I got some matches I want to throw your way as a fan. And now that I have the guy, I want to throw a match you as a fan. But some matches that I would love to see in the future, if possible, if it works out, it'd be great. I would like to see. All right, so we got Julian Lane, great fighter, Caleb Harris, great fighter, both coming off of 2 losses in a row. So Ehlers beat Julian Lane, and Thiago beat Julian Lane, and then Ehlers also beat Harris, and then Elvin Brito on the most recent match. Oh no, yes, the most recent match against Harris. So both coming off of 2 losses in a row, both good fighters. What do you think of that pair up?
So Julian Lane's just so much larger. He's, the last fight was at 180.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, you saw how big he was. It wasn't like he was an out of shape 180.
Right.
I mean, he was an in shape 180. Caleb's at 165. He can make 155. I wouldn't say with ease, but I think he makes, say, 155 easier than Julian does.
Yeah.
That would be a fight. And this is something that I told Caleb, so it's not a secret. Caleb has the one-punch knockout power.
Yeah.
But when he doesn't land that one-punch knockout power, that one-punch knockout, he gets drug into 5-rounders that his output just isn't very high. So you take a guy like that and put him against a high pace. Let's just say, hypothetically, Julian and him could both make 165 easily and fight. Julian's a high output puncher that has knockout ability. Caleb's a knockout fighter that doesn't have a high output. So typically the larger man will wear down the smaller man. But again, I mean, Caleb hits hard. I mean, we've seen it. So
yeah, he does hit hard, man.
Yeah.
And then people are talking about well, we'll see. I don't think the timing is going to be right on this, but Elvin Brito and Joe Elmore. But I don't think the timing is going to be right for that, because Elmore's got a heel, and I think Brito wants to get a fight soon.
Yeah, I'm working on something for Elvin for November. I think Joe will probably be out until early 2021.
Yeah.
It's a fight that obviously makes sense, has a lot of people excited, and our 165-pound division right now is getting some attention to it. The knockout of the year came at 165 with Caleb. Now you have Tom Schoaf is going to go back down to 155, but we still have fighters like Leonard Garcia that can get in the mix.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have a whole roster of guys. I mean, imagine Jim Allers at 165. So that's who knows how long he'll stay at 55. Let's see how his next fight goes. So
next fight's for the belt. Yeah. And Palomino, going to be a great match if he goes to 165. You never know. He may fight Thiago Alves.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac Valley Flag fought Melvin Gillard, I think, at 170. Yeah. So we have a lot of options at 165. But Elmore versus Brito would definitely be exciting.
Yeah.
And I think they're friends, but both those guys will fight anyone, I think. And Elvin Brito's 2-2 or 2-3, but he's 2-0 at 165. He does better at the higher weight, and Elmore's 2-0, and they both have an in-your-face, try and knock your head off style.
Yeah, they do, man. And then the Johnny Bedford Datnewin fight, that's going to go down for the strap?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's definitely – look, Johnny Bedford beat everyone in the division.
Yeah.
That's why he went to 145 for a fight, because – we have a stacked 135-pound division. It just happens to be that Bedford beat them all. Yeah. So it didn't make sense running a rematch this soon when we have a world-class boxer in Datwin who has 2 wins. Get him in there, let him fight. Let's see what happens. And then we have Chop Chop Corley, who came to the tryouts. So you'll be seeing him either toe the line or BKFC coming up soon.
Nice.
Announcement will be coming out. He's at 135. It's another former world champ boxer getting in there. The guy fought Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, he fought Mayweather. That's right.
I mean, he's boxing credentials galore. So he can mix it up. So should Bedford beat that, there's other options down the pipeline now that we didn't have previously. But it's just because we're doing more shows. We're going on BKFC 13 coming up. So
yeah. And talking to about Johnny Bedford, a lot of stuff back and forth. But weight is an issue, but a lot of shit talking back and forth between Jason Knight and Johnny Bedford. When are we going to see Jason Knight back in the squared circle?
I'd love to have Jason Knight back. I was just talking to someone down in Biloxi earlier this week, and actually over this past weekend, about when we're going to be returning down there. Jason Knight's a fan favorite. People love his style. Yeah. Very tough. And his last fight against Artem, he showed that he's more than just a brawler. I was very impressed with his performance. With that being said, we have to find the right fight, because having him fight just anybody doesn't make sense. He's a high-level fighter, and our 145-pound division, Johnny Bedford would make a lot of sense. But again, if that's a move Johnny makes, then David and I are going to sit down. Let's just say Johnny would, retain the title. Then if you want to move to 145, David and I would have to sit down and see if that's something we'd want for him permanently and not bounce back and forth so it doesn't hold up the strap at 135. Should that win, that win get the title, then we'd have to sit down with Johnny and see if that's a move he'd want to make as well. But that'd be a lot easier of a move for him unless it was a close fight or disputed or something and we did a rematch.
Okay. I mean, there's so much. I mean, this is like putting a puzzle together for you, I'm sure. Like getting these matches made, putting this together. Yeah.
It truly is. And the nice thing working for David is he gives me leeway to make the matches. Like I said, some of the matches I make, he looks at me and he's like, no, we're not doing that. And some of the matches he looks at me and he's like, wow, like that's an awesome fight. Fans are going to love it. So just like anything else, I need the criticism, good or bad. I need him to tell me where we stand because he steers the ship for this promotion. I'm just there putting the fights together, which is a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it. I'm going to keep doing it as long as he lets me. And as we grow as a company and as the sport continues to grow, we're going to have a lot more fighters coming. And I would not be surprised to see more world champ boxers, more former champions of other combat sports transition over fighting bare knuckle because it's a level playing ground.
It really is, and it's funny because of the transitions that you see in bare knuckle when you get the boxers to come in. There are things that like, all right, for example, the last event we had a boxer in there. Forgive me, I can't remember his name, but it was a debut in bare knuckle. Tall guy, dreadlocks. He had the knockout.
Mma Evans.
Yes, phenomenal, right? Guy's tall. He's got the reach. He's got the ability. He's definitely got the knockout power. So that's a good part of being a professional boxer, moving into bare knuckle. If you're able to adjust to the style and utilize the skills that you have from the boxing world, you could do very well. But we've also seen boxers that haven't really transitioned too well into bare knuckle too. So it's always interesting to see how the individual fighter is able to adapt to bare knuckle, and that's why I feel bare knuckle is so interesting because it brings a whole different dynamic to stand up.
Absolutely. So Mma Evans, first off, one of the nicest people and easiest to deal with. So Pete White, whatever he does up there at his gym is great. I told him today, Evans was so nice to deal with. He was on time for everything, made weight without any issues, just, a pleasure to work with. And the guy can fight. Like he used his reach and his length impeccably. I mean, he not only does he have the punching power, but he has a skill set taught obviously at a phenomenal gym that taught him how to be a great fighter and how to be a good sportsman. Nothing negative came from him. He showed up, did everything we asked, performed at a high level, and walked away with a victory and an impressive knockout. So we are going to start seeing a lot more decorated boxers. Nico Hernandez. They just had, we had Jared Grant on the last card. I think he was like 25-5 or something amateur. Came on over to do bare knuckle. Mma Evans, Paulie Malignaggi. Look, if you talk to the average person, average boxing fan, I should say, and said Paulie Malignaggi versus anyone that's not a boxer in a bare knuckle boxing fight, they're going to laugh at you and they're going to call us crazy. Why would you put someone in there with a 500 MMA record against a phenomenal boxer like Paulie Malignaggi? But the thing is, this isn't bare knuckle boxing. This is bare knuckle fighting. You can hold them. You can punch them. Like, there's different aspects to this. It's 5 2-minute rounds. It's not a 12-round championship fight.
Right.
So it's a faster-paced sport. And when you get someone that has the accolades of Paulie Malignaggi stepping into a squared circle, it shows that this sport is legitimate because the guy doesn't need the money. I mean, he did this because he had something to prove, I think. Like that, he's at the highest level in boxing you could reach. He came on over and he showed that boxers can compete in this sport. Yes. And for us, it was great to have him and just see someone with that caliber competing in our stage against Artem Lobov, who is a huge name in MMA.
Yeah, and Paul loves bare knuckle. He loves BKFC. I was actually with him last week. We were having cigars together because he comes down here to Florida, so we were hanging out. We, just shooting the shit, talking bare knuckle. He absolutely loves BKFC, man. Always has nothing but great things to say about it, and he's a huge fan of it. And why not, right? Why not be a fan? It's fucking awesome. So that's pretty cool.
That's the thing, and that's why I tell people. A lot of people think that we're getting washed up fighters or fighters that can't compete and other things. And he's the first one before Page. He's why I say he didn't have to fight. Yeah. He didn't need the money. This is a person who is just a fighter at heart who wanted to come on over to bare knuckle and showcase and try it out. So it was huge for us. I was, very happy to be a part of the promotion that was able to have someone at that level, compete in this new sport.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to all the future signings for you guys. You guys are just doing a fantastic job, and I'm happy that I get to be a part of it behind the scenes and do my thing too. And thank you guys for allowing that, because it's a privilege and it's an honor to do it, and I have so much fun doing it. And I just can't wait. One day I want to go to all the events, man. I want to fly out and do all of them. But we'll hold down Florida, and we'll do a good job down here. But man, I'm excited. Total Line, we got September 26th, October 10th. We have BKFC 13, November 14th, BKFC 14. I mean, it's gonna be a bare knuckle fall, baby. I love it.
Oh yeah. So if people want to find out more about upcoming events, Instagram, BKFC_matchmaker, like you have posted there for me. Thank you.
Of course.
And really quick before we go, I just want to thank two of our biggest sponsors, Tiger Life Energy Drink. Great guys, phenomenal product. I'm not a big energy drink person. I had it. I'm not sure if you had the last event. It has such a clean taste to it. It was amazing. It's a great drink. So get to your local convenience store and make sure you get it. And Fusion CBD products. They've been sponsoring us for a long time. So check them out at fusioncbdproducts.com. And this weekend, September 26th, Tunica, Mississippi, download the app or go to the website and watch an event. 9 fights, less than $4.
Can't go wrong. Less than a cup of coffee, baby.
Oh, less than a cup of coffee. I stole it from someone. Someone else said it first, but it works.
Hey, and you don't have to wear a mask, or you don't have to put gloves on. Just hang out in your house, watch the fights, and that's amazing, man. I'm going to be watching some bare knuckle fights tonight myself.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing you at the next Florida show, or maybe come out to another one and work something out.
That'd be amazing, man. Anything at all. I love the sport. I'm a big fan, and I'm a big fan of yours too, man. You've been doing a great job, and thank you for being on my platform, man. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too, Nate. Take care.
See ya.
Later. Nate Shook, everybody, the man, the matchmaker for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. I'm a huge fan. I love doing this podcast. I love combat sports. I love MMA. I love boxing. I love wrestling, and I love bare knuckle. I'm a huge fan of bare knuckle. If you haven't tuned in yet, follow him on Instagram. Follow him on Facebook. Go on YouTube. Check him out. The fight's amazing stuff. Amazing action. So check it out. Obviously, much more coming. Paige Van Zant's coming up. Shannon Briggs looming in the rafters. Going to be sick. So check them out, guys. Amazing stuff coming from bare knuckle. And again, guys, I just want to say thank you, because you know what's crazy? We're closing in on 500,000 followers on Instagram. Amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Chris is putting the hard work in behind the scenes with all the content. I don't even think the man sleeps. He's a beast. He's the king of content. I'm over here on the front end putting out the podcast for you guys, taking your requests, fan questions, all the good stuff. Keep them coming. I love interacting with you guys and getting the guests on that you want to hear from. So follow us, IG at MMA Uncensored, _, and subscribe to the ever-growing YouTube channel. We really want to blow this thing up, because I want to make a lot of money. And the only way I can make a lot of money is with MMA Uncensored YouTube page really spiking up. So help me out there, because the more money I make, the more cool stuff I could give away. I want to start giving out tickets to people. I want to get some autograph memorabilia for people. I just want to give that stuff away. But I got to make some money doing that. So come on, guys, right over there. Do it. All right. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. And make sure September 26th, Total Line Series is going to be lit. Take care, guys.